Welcome to the Geeking Poetic podcast channel.
On this channel, we have shows and segments that contain adult humor,
bad language, dirty jokes,
and other stuff that is strictly for mature audiences only.
So if you're too young or too sensitive for this kind of material, then please do not watch our channel or our videos.
This channel is not for you.
Thanks much.
And now, on with the show! About to fall over.
Holy moly.
What's up, Stranger Dangers?
Yeah, look who is back. It is none other than Geeking Poetic Podcast, talking about geeky stuff, geeking squad stuff. It's the Squadcast.
That's been a while.
It's been a while. Been a while. So,
but I can still remember just the way you geek.
Yeah. So, what's going on? How are you guys doing?
We're still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still here. Everybody's probably like, oh my God, this is still a thing.
Right? Yeah.
Kind of wasn't. I mean, we haven't done one of these in months.
Months, yeah.
Yeah, it was time. We're going to call this the Redux Reboot.
Redux Reboot.
Reboot.
Yeah.
This is a new season, that's all.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. Yeah, it's like the beginning of September.
Uh-huh.
This is when the new seasons...
all the new shows get announced and everything, so yep.
New for the fall season.
Right?
It is the second season, we'll call it, of...
The fourth year.
Yeah. Well, but how long have we been doing the Geeking Squad? We didn't start this until...
True. All right, yeah, I guess it's about a year then. Maybe?
Last year, yeah.
Probably,
So,
yeah.
Right, I don't remember anymore. But anyway, yeah, we are your hosts. I'm Larry Roberts. Across the way from me, he's still here, folks. He's hanging in there. He's
by a thread, but I'm hanging on.
we have none other than
Vito.
And then this one over here that had all her notes and everything ready, and then all of a sudden, right as we were about to start recording,
I lost everything.
he was like, "Oh wait, hang on, I got to start all over again." Fuck.
Yeah. I'm Megan, though. How you doing?
Yeah. And just in case you don't know, or if it's been so long that you've forgotten, what we do here on the Squadcast is that we talk about all sorts of stuff in pop culture that's going on, more specifically things that appeal to geeks like us and hopefully geeks like you, and the geeks that post in our group on Facebook, the Geeking Squad group.
They give us all our goodies to talk about.
Yeah, for the most part, we throw a couple of two-tree little tidbits in there of our own.
Occasionally, yeah.
They're the coal to our steam engine, if you will.
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
Keep us moving.
Yeah.
Chugging along, right?
If only you could have just seen the little chug move that Megan just made. It was pretty fun. But yeah, so we're gonna just talk about a whole bunch of different stuff. We break it up into categories, like little quicker bits, and then things we expound on a little bit more thoroughly, and then we're gonna even get into some recommendations of shit that we think y'all should check out later. But if you guys are ready, should we get into the first bit?
Let's do it. Bit one.
Oh man, it's really been quite a moment since we've all heard.
What's shaking, bacon?
So great.
Fucking What's Shakin' Bacon. Yep. So in the What's Shakin' Bacon segment, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different current topics in geek lore, geek, fandom, we'll say. All the things that we like.
Bacon is a breakfast food.
Okay.
It's an all-day food, man.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean...
I did have it for dinner the other night. Yeah.
There you go.
Bacon goes...
Are you a crispy bacon gal or a...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it needs to be crispy.
Okay. Yeah, bacon goes with just about anything for me, but I prefer my bacon sort of like medium. Like, I don't want it too raw because that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
But if it's like too crispy, then it's, I don't know.
I don't want it burnt, but I would like a crisp to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like a little bit of crispity crunch to it. trying to sound like a commercial. Like
is that what that was?
Like yeah, that's what it was. Listen here, chew chewer. Okay.
It's chugga chugga.
Chugga chugga. Sorry.
Be an ass. Make sure it's right.
But Vito, you've got some like breakfast food news for all of us, don't you?
Give you a hint. It starts with Yabba Dabba Brew.
Yabba Dabba Brew.
Yabba Dabba Brew.
Okay.
So it's a brewery called the Crooked Hammock Brewery.
The Crooked Hammock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if the hammock's
shady.
cheating somebody out of some money or something, or what's going on. But yeah, that's what they called themselves. And they developed a new beer that's based off of Fruity Pebbles.
All right. Now, is that appealing to anybody in this room?
Well, why wouldn't it be? We like the fruity, like orange blue moons and shit like that. Why not Fruity Pebbles?
Okay, but what's going to make it like stand out as being Fruity Pebbles? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't it just be? We've got fruity beers that have like all those that have orange and lemon and berry and all that. So what about it is going to make it specifically Fruity Pebbles style?
So
The
this
Pebbles?
is yeah.
What? Okay.
This is like it's called an imperial like sour. So I'm guessing
Right.
it's kind of a sour beer, which is not for me at all.
Right.
But yeah, so apparently you've got sweet and tart cherry, puckering lemon, juicy orange, and fragrant lime zest.
Okay.
It's also made with Fruity Pebbles cereal that you know and love, and milk sugar, whatever that is.
Wait. Okay, wait. Hold on. Just back up for a second. It's made with Fruity Pebbles cereal.
Yes. So I don't know if they like put the cereal into the vat that they cook the beer in or whatever. I don't know how beer is made. I'm guessing it's some kind of big vat that they cook, right?
Yeah, I would guess something
Or in
along
somebody's
those lines.
bathtub or something like that.
Right.
Oh boy. Wow.
That's moonshine
Okay.
Yeah.
or meth
Yeah.
or both.
Yeah. Moonshine meth. Write it down. To the left, Vito. Oh my gosh. But okay, but I mean, so my question is like, so if you're drinking this beer, are you going to be getting like pieces of actual Fruity Pebbles in the
I'm
beer?
sure they strain it out. It's just used for the flavor.
Yeah.
Because it has a very distinct flavor to it.
Yeah, I guess it does.
It's not like making it with Apple Jacks. That'd be totally different.
What do you say? You don't think? Okay, so you think Fruity Pebbles has a very distinct flavor, but Apple Jacks doesn't?
No, I'm saying they both do. They would be very different
Oh,
flavors.
they're different from one another.
There you
Okay,
go.
I think I'd much prefer an Apple Jack's beer to a Fruity Pebbles beer.
that does.
That does sound better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree. I
'Cause I
love
had-
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, because I had the Fruity Pebbles with coffee creamer, and I did not like that in my coffee at all.
Yeah, remember we liked that,
Oh
didn't
yeah,
we?
no, we like drinking it straight out of the motherfucking jug.
Right. But with
and you
coffee,
loved it. You have it in the milk, and then you drink the milk afterwards. It's just all drained to the pebbles part,
Right,
Yeah.
but it leaves it flavored.
right.
Same
But that's milk.
Well, so
You know,
it's still
milk.
a liquid,
Now, how about this?
and it has what does it have? It milk,
Milk
doesn't-
sugar.
milk sugar.
Oh dear. Could you imagine?
Bouncing off the walls now.
What if you like poured a bowl of Fruity Pebbles or Apple Jacks, something like that, and then you'd poured a bunch of rum chata in it?
Oh wow.
Meg's got a look on her face that's both like, "Oh, that's fucked up," and
I'm
"Oh,
intrigued.
that's kind of interesting." Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go with why can't we just have a bowl of Fruity Pebbles and then pour some beer in the milk and make our own.
Now, here's a little bit of trivia for
Don't
you.
people eat cereal with beer or something?
I was
College kids.
just
when
gonna say that.
Oh really?
I've done that.
Oh God, really?
Yes. However, here's the caveat, okay? It was not with motherfucking Fruity Pebbles. You know what I mean? But it was with Frosted Flakes.
Mm.
So I had beer and Frosted Flakes. Now, I'm not going to say it was good, but it wasn't as bad as you might think it would be. It just made it, it just made the whole, like, whatever you want to call it, yeasty
Mm-hmm.
barleyness of the fucking beer just stand out that much
Oh
more.
God, that's the worst part of a beer. I can't stand that part.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that, but
I've had cereal with Tang before. That's terrible.
oh yeah, you got to call out your mom on
Yeah,
that
I gotta
one
call
again?
my mom out. Yep, never gonna live it down. totally set me up. Didn't tell me she did that on accident. Half asleep, don't care. You tell your child.
Yeah. So she did it on accident. She didn't mean to give you
That's
the
what
tang.
she claims.
What was it? Was supposed to be sugar, I take it.
Yes.
Okay, well,
And then you pour the milk over it, and now you got tang in your Rice Krispies.
Oof. Man.
It was rough.
Wasn't Tang like an orange like soda mix thing?
Yeah.
It's a powder drink. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You usually mix with water, not milk.
You mix
And
it with
cereal.
water, not milk. Yeah, exactly.
Mom.
Well, everybody, I've told the story before. I ate cornflakes with salt instead of sugar before.
A lot of salt, wasn't it?
It was a lot of salt because I was being an asshole and I was like, I'm going to scoop so much sugar in here and it's going to be fucking amazing. Like, you know how you ever have those tablespoons that are like a little bit bigger than a normal tablespoon? They're like a tablespoon and a half, like a really big one. And I was at Joe's house and I scooped up all like three or four heaping spoons of this and put it into my big ass fucking bowl of industrial strength cornflakes that he gave me. With a bunch of milk, and that still haunts me to this day. It haunts me. I couldn't eat like really salty things for years. Years. I mean, many years.
I believe it.
Now I can eat salt again. I don't mind it as much. But oof, yeah, that ruined me. I horked so bad. Oof. Anyway, well, all right. So when do these things go on sale? These Fruity Pebbles.
Well, as of right now, they've been on sale since it looks like the end of June.
Okay.
So you can either buy them in cans. It's a limited edition offering, so I don't even know if they're still available. Some asshole might have bought them all up by now. But if you go to this Crooked Hammock Brewery,
Okay.
in Middleton, Delaware, if we want to take a trip, you can have it on draft there, I guess.
Leave it to Delaware.
What else they got going on, man? They got to think of something.
I was just going to say, like, what can we do? We're barely on the map. We barely exist. What can we do? Hey, man, do you like cereal? Do you like the Flintstones? Yeah. Do you like beer? Yeah. Let's put it all together. And we're really going to put Delaware on the map now. It's like, do it. What are we going to call it? Crooked Hammock. Sounds great to me. Just rolls right off the tongue. We're gonna get like hate mail. Like they're gonna be like, "Hey man, we're the guys that created Crooked Hammock, and fuck you."
Yeah. Yeah, all of Delaware hates us now.
Yeah. We were listening to your podcast last week. We were thinking about sponsoring you guys, but now I don't think we're gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think that'd happen. And no, in all seriousness, you can't see us obviously, so we'll tell you. Show of hands, who in here would actually try this beer?
Me.
Yeah, I'd try it. Would you try it?
I'd try it. What the hell?
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't like it, but I did have a gummy bear beer a few weeks ago, and that was actually really, really good.
Gummy bear beer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? They got the Swedish fish vodka, so.
It's true.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What about Jelly Belly beer?
Jelly Belly.
We'd definitely try that. I think
Yeah.
they came out with
I
that.
think we would.
All right. Well, yeah. If anybody out there has tried this beer, this Fruity Pebbles beer, please let us know. We want to know about it, and we'll report back in the next episode. So, unless they're just like, we don't even want to talk about it or something. But moving on from that, I think you've got more breakfast cereal.
This is another cereal thing, but in case you're like somebody that's really boring and you don't like to like really drink alcohol that much, and you're just like, you know what really fuels my fire is oatmeal. But I wish I had oatmeal that tasted like my favorite cereals. Well, you're in luck.
Oh.
Yeah, because General Mills' Big G instant oatmeals now come in new flavors, such as Lucky Charms,
Okay.
Cocoa Puffs,
Okay.
and Trix.
I like tricks.
Yeah, so basically it's just plain old boring ass oatmeal. But then they give you like a little packet of like marshmallows for the Lucky Charms, or like this brown crunchy stuff for Cocoa Pebbles, and then some crunchy things for
Really?
Trix. Yeah,
That's all it is?
That's all it
Really?
is,
Huh.
yeah.
That seems like...
I could just buy a box of cereal and crunch it up myself
Yeah.
and do that.
Right. That seems like...
Aw.
That's kind of bunk, man. Come on, General Mills. You could do better than that.
And I think it has a price here. Each box is almost like $2.50.
No.
Now I don't know how big the oatmeal things are, but you can buy a big ass family size cereal box for at least $2.50 at Walmart or
Right.
something.
Right.
Just make your own.
Yeah, that's kind
Yeah, I was excited about that cocoa one because I love chocolate malto meal, and I thought it's going to be the same, right? Roughly.
No, it doesn't.
It's a little
sound-
texture, but
It's
no,
just gonna be-
not like I'm gonna add a whole new texture. It's gonna be crunchy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I like that.
Well, that's kind of a failure. Now,
Wah.
There's actually a cinnamon toast crunch one as well.
oh, I was just
Oh.
gonna say that. I was gonna say, now, how would
That's
you
up
feel?
your alley.
Yeah, that's like a cinnamon dust topping. It says so. I'm gonna guess it's just brown
Wait a
sugar.
minute. Okay, wait a minute.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, cinnamon and sugar and brown sugar and just sprinkle
Right?
on top.
So
I
all
guess
it,
so.
$2.50 for it?
yeah.
I think you can even get that flavor by itself in an oat milk, right?
That's what I
Quaker
was
Oats
just gonna
makes
fucking
that
say.
already. It's called brown sugar and cinnamon.
What the
Right?
fuck? This is some bullshit. You can't get me all excited about some fucking cinnamon toast crunch
Oh,
oatmeal and then tell me that all it basically is goddamn brown sugar and cinnamon oatmeal. Just slap a fucking cinnamon toast crunch logo on it. What a fucking lie. Oh, come on.
Whatever to get the
man.
money.
Yeah.
Man.
Commercialism.
Here's what I submit. I think those crafty motherfuckers over at Cream of Wheat, they need to fucking jump on this shit. And they need to be like, all right, so General Mills has these fucking bullshit fucking oatmeals that are just, you know, it's just their normal shit, but it's like, well, this is an, you know, apple and cinnamon oatmeal. Hey, I know, let's call it Apple Jacks, you know, so on and so forth. I think the people at Cream of Wheat need to be like, here's the deal. We need to call some motherfuckers up and we need to like get ourselves like some fucking ins with Count Chocula and Frankenberry
Oh.
and Booberry
You'd
and
be
all
all
that,
about that.
and make like Cream of Wheat monster cereal things and do it right. You know, like I want my fucking Booberry like Cream of Wheat to literally be
Blue. Yes.
just blue. You know, literally look like fucking Smurf diarrhea. I'm not saying I want it to taste
Ew.
like Smurf diarrhea, but I want it to look, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that brown and that pink color that Frankenberry is and all that. Like really do it right. Because I have always, like when I was growing up, I didn't care about no motherfucking malto meal. I didn't care about no Quaker Oats horse shit. I was a cream of wheat motherfucking kid through and through. I love me some cream of wheat. I haven't eaten cream of wheat in a long time. And I need to.
You need to.
I think I need to.
Yeah, now I want some malto meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had cocoa malto meal.
Oh my God, it's so good. With some toast. Oh,
Mm.
that's my go-to.
Or we could just stick with goddamn cinnamon toast crunch and some fucking milk and call it a day, because that's
I got cinnamon toast crunch coffee creamer.
Do you?
That shit is the bomb.
oh, dude.
Dude, it's so good.
Oh my god.
Got it. You can get it at Jewel.
Okay. Huh.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I need to get that. All right, well, before I start like salivating all over the goddamn microphone thinking about your cinnamon toast crunch creamer,
Yeah, what do you got for us?
we're taking it away from food entirely. We're going on.
For now.
What do you think I'm going to talk about?
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's always Star Wars with me. I know. Everybody at home's like, oh God, more Star
Here we
Wars.
go. We haven't talked about it in a long time. We've tried to like not overdo it.
That's true.
You kind of got Star Wars out for a while.
I'm still Star Wars'd out.
Because it was everywhere for like fucking 7 months.
It's true.
And it still
It
is.
still is.
I mean, I'm still Star Wars'd out, even with like my toy collecting and stuff. Like they've announced so many new toys for like pre-order and things that are coming out. And there's a couple things that I was like, okay, I do want that. But on the whole, a lot of it, I'm like, okay, I've got enough Star Wars. I've been like way more intrigued with other things like G.I. Joe's, He-Man, Turtles, like, you know, all sorts
Turtles.
Yep, all sorts of other stuff. They've been coming out with some great Turtles stuff. Oh man, yeah, there's some really, really fucking cool new toys coming out for Turtles, Transformers, man, just tons of stuff. But anyway, I digress. That's for an
It's a
episode.
whole nother story.
That's for an episode of Geeking Toyetic. But so one of the things that came out recently from Lucasfilm and Disney was they came out with the new series. It was basically like an offshoot sequel of sorts from the Clone Wars that Dave Filoni came up with for The Bad Batch, which was about some particular little battalion or whatever of clone troopers that they were a bad batch. Not that they were bad guys, but they weren't. They went against the grain.
Oh, I thought they were like deformed or something when they got out of the...
Kind of. Not, they're not deformed,
Like
but
lore,
yeah, no, yeah, but they're
but not bad.
yeah, they're not deformed or anything, but yeah, it's just they didn't, how all the clones are supposed to be exactly the same more or less, and they're supposed to all have that Order 66 bullshit and programmed into them, and these guys went against the grain, bro. It's too much for me to explain. Anybody out there that knows what they are, they know what they are. But it's been very popular, very well received and stuff. People love the Bad Batch and everything. But now they've announced that supposedly they want to bring them into the live action world, and that they are trying to figure out or working on a way to include them in what we call the Mandaverse, the Mandalorian verse, because it's sort of like its own thing now.
Yeah.
So they might show up in the Mandalorian. They might show up in. They could show up on the Obi-Wan show. They've got the Ahsoka show that's coming out with what's her nuts in it, Rosario, and everything. They could show up in any one of those because they're technically connected to any one of those things, and yeah, people are pretty jazzed about it.
So you're telling me I need to finish watching the Clone Wars so I can watch the Bad Batch so I can watch. You're telling me?
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you because
Can they just make a show that you get everything you need from that show and you have to watch everything else?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Nope. It's all got to work together.
Nope. They don't. The more they can branch it out, so they can get their tentacles out further and further, and more lines, more toys, more whatever. Yeah, exactly. I haven't finished the Clone Wars. I haven't finished Rebels. I have not, and people at home will be like, holy shit. I've not even started watching the Bad Batch yet.
Yeah, my brother said, no, don't. You have to finish watching these other ones first to fully appreciate and understand it. So I haven't even started it.
Now, if the question comes up of, well, Larry, so you don't know what happens on the Bad Batch?
Of course he does. He read all about it.
I didn't read all about it, but I know a bunch of stuff. I know how it ended, the season of it ended and stuff, so... Yeah, I know.
We need a little button that says extra, extra, read all about it every time that Larry has to do a...
Yeah, we do need that.
Has to read something at it.
Well, Anyway, so a lot of people are really jazzed about that. Another thing that people are pretty jazzed about is that they've started announcing more information about Rogue Squadron. Now, do you guys know about Rogue Squadron?
No, I don't think I've heard about it.
Is that a movie or something?
It's going to be the new movie. It's kind of, I guess you could say it's another offshooty kind of thing like Rogue One was, but I don't think this is necessarily a prequel kind of thing. But Rogue Squadron is I guess it's kind of self-explanatory. It's going to be about this is going to be more, I guess, surrounding the militaristic side of it. You know what I mean? It's going to be. It's not going to, from what I'm understanding of the little information that's coming out, it's not going to be so heavy on a lot of stuff like Mando is on the Force and Jedis and all this other stuff. This is going to be more about them, the Rogue Squadrons,
grunt work,
the fighting, the pilots, flying X-Wings and Y-Wings and all this kind. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Patty Jenkins, the female director, is directing it, which is awesome. I'm so glad that they've got somebody like her at the helm of it, because she sounds like she's really got a good head on her shoulders about it. I'm really looking forward to that. And another thing that everybody, and I in particular, I'm very excited about is they have announced that the Obi-Wan Kenobi show has wrapped filming.
Oh, boy.
Fuck yes. And, nothing has come out about it yet. We know, the cast, but we don't know any, character names, anything. But the one thing that's interesting about it is, if for those, I'm sure most people probably that know about the show do know, but I don't know if you guys know, is that Hayden Christensen's in the cast. That's Anakin.
Yeah.
So this takes place after the events of Revenge of the Sith, but before A New Hope. This is supposed to be when Obi-Wan is living on Tatooine and all that stuff and trying to keep a eye, close but distant eye on Luke and his upbringing and all that stuff. So how Hayden's going to be in it, I don't know.
Force ghost or something.
Well, but he's not fucking dead yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, wait,
he's Darth
Yeah,
Vader.
that's true.
Right. And that's what a lot of people were saying, like, and I'm like, no, that wouldn't make sense. So I'm wondering if it's like they might do it, like, are they going to film a bunch of things that are supposed to be more like flashbacks we never saw?
Oh, that could be cool.
Maybe. But the only problem I have with that is getting back to what we were saying about, like, Clone Wars. That's essentially what Clone Wars was.
Was it?
Like, Clone Wars already covered all that. Like,
okay.
everything that happened in, all the stuff that you didn't see in the prequels, like all the stuff in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith and all that. So we've already kind of seen that. So I'm curious how this is supposed to work out, and I don't know. But I'm really intrigued. And it's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi and it's Ewan McGregor, so I'm all in.
You're in no matter what.
Yeah, so but that is coming out in 2022 and everything.
Okay, right around the corner.
Right. Well, and another thing that obviously is right around the corner that's supposed to be coming out, I think it's supposed to come out actually before 2022, coming out towards the end of the year, is going to be the next Mandalorian stuff. But what I've heard, the next thing that's coming out is going to be the Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
Following on with Boba Fett and Fennec Shand and everything. So there's a thing going around, and there's nothing 100% confirmed about this yet, but there's a thing going around saying that the rumors are that after season 3 of The Mandalorian, now, which I am assuming is not the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, really?
I'm assuming that the Book of Boba Fett is supposed to be sort of like its own side gig. You know what I mean? There's rumors going around that they're changing the name of The Mandalorian after season 3. Have you guys heard anything about this?
No.
So they're wondering, people are like, well, why would they be changing the name unless they're going to do some major shakeup, like
Restructure people.
Maybe Mando is not going to be around anymore.
Remember, they were having all those issues with them before.
That's true. There's just a lot of things. So they haven't said what they're going to name it, and then that kind of ties back into the whole like Bad Batch thing. Like, okay, are they going to bring like the Bad Batch into it and stuff and have that, you know what I mean? And kind of create a new show. I don't know. But I'm a little leery of that. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because why would they need the Bad Batch and them to take over the Mandalorian? Why would we need two?
Well, what I'm saying is that they maybe the Mandalorian would become something else, like maybe it's going to evolve into some sort of amalgamation of Bad Batch and Mando and other stuff. I don't know. It's all like hearsay right now. This is just stuff that's supposedly, leaked from inside sources kind of thing and all that. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's all super speculative. I mean, the only thing we know is like Rogue Squadron's coming out. Obi-Wan is coming out. You know what I mean? But like there's
No
just
further detail.
no, not enough. But I'm intrigued by it. If anybody else has any insight about this, if you've heard any kind of rumors or anything that has come out since we've recorded this and everything, definitely post it in the squad and share it with us so that I can talk more about it next time, because I'm always game for talking about this. Speaking of Disney, Meg, I think you were going to bring up something.
Yeah, the whole big hoopla with Disney right now is screwing their actors out of money.
Yeah.
So they had the whole thing with Scarlett Johansson.
Right.
And she was suing them because the
Yeah.
movie was, she's supposed to have movie rights in the theaters so she could get paid for that. And then they released it on Netflix consecutively and she didn't get paid for those.
Well, yeah, and what happened is that they believe that putting it out on Netflix, or not on Netflix, on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Putting
This
it
is
out.
the Scarlet Witch movie.
Not Scarlet Witch,
Scarlet-
Black Widow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
I'm thinking of Scarlet. That's why.
Right. Yeah, that does get confusing. But putting it out on Disney Plus did affect the numbers at the box office. So they believe, And the problem is in part of the negotiating the contract for these things, it's like in terms of how much they're going to make and all that kind of stuff. Part of it is like things like, okay, well, let's say Scarlett's guaranteed, oh, you're going to make 15 mil, and it's like, but so much of that, like several million of it or whatever, is going to be based on how it does like first week box office numbers, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's all sorts of things like that. It's kind of like in the music business where like you can either, if you're a producer or something, you can take points on the sales, or you can just get flat out fees and stuff. So it's kind of like the points thing. And she believes that she lost millions of dollars because had y'all put it out on just in the theaters first, let it have its month or so, even if you would have put it out a month later on Disney, like if you would have let it have just like its own fresh life out in the theater, like it would have done potentially better. I think she's right. I mean,
Do people even going to the theater anymore?
Well,
as it is?
I don't think they are, but I also think the point is they're not going to the theater if they don't have to.
Right.
I mean,
it's just seemed like Disney wasn't willing to negotiate that change because it was already in the contract.
Yeah.
Because I wonder like how much it would cost Disney to put the films in the theaters versus how much money they would get from ticket sales. It might not have even been worth their time or money to put it out if they're just going to lose money on it that way.
Well, but it did come out in the theater. It came out in both, but the problem is that it had, especially for a Marvel movie, I mean, like, whereas a Marvel movie like that would have normally in the theater made, 500, 600, 700 million or something like that. At the box office, it made like 200 mil or 160 mil or something like that. It was like way low. And it's because they got so many people that paid to see it on Disney Plus instead. And the problem is there was nothing in the contract that stated, well, you'll get a cut of our Disney Plus sales. It's kind of like us with digital rights for music and stuff. It's like you have to put it in the contract that,
you get this percentage of everything.
If you make so much money from streaming or from iTunes or whatever, Spotify, all those kind of things, it's like the artist needs to get it, but you have to have that in the contract. A lot of older artists didn't have that kind of shit in their contracts. So they had to like try and renegotiate because they were only getting paid for physical sales and stuff, So anyway, I get it. So I mean, I get the what I heard is the crux of all this is that Scarlett Johansson and Disney are like done.
Yeah, that's kaput.
And she was supposed to be in the Tower of Terror movie they were going to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know how they have all those movies they're going to be doing that's based on like their famous rides. Like they've got, they had the Jungle Cruise movie that they just did with The Rock and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you
We'll
see
talk
it?
more about that later.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
To be continued.
Okay. So they had that, and now they were doing this Tower of Terror one that was going to have Scarlett Johansson. She was supposed to be the big star attached to it. That's not going to happen. So
was this like on Disney Plus as like if you had a Disney Plus account you could watch it, or do you have to like
you
buy
You have to buy
for
it, yeah.
So it's like an HBO thing,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Okay,
HBO Max kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like, like you have Amazon Prime and there's a bunch of stuff on Amazon Prime that comes with your subscription. But then if you want to watch this new movie, you have to pay $14.99 for it.
Okay.
And that was the thing. She wasn't getting the same
cut of that.
Yeah, she wasn't getting the cut of that. And she felt like, oh, they fucking took advantage and screwed it, which they fucking did.
Because it opened the same weekend as it came out.
Right.
Oh.
And that's my point. If
They did it simultaneous.
They should not have done that. If they were going to put it out and say, well, we're going to make it available, they should have let the movie have, 2 weeks or something like that just in the theater, and then, put it out as a premium on Disney Plus. That would have been more fair, but
No dice.
Stupid.
I heard Emma Stone
yeah.
maybe having issues with them. Same thing, because she's Cruella de Vil.
Oh.
But I think she's been confirmed for the next movie, a sequel for it. So.
Yeah, well.
But I think the same thing happened to her.
Disney might.
But I think that one, it didn't come out the same time.
Okay. Well, Disney might also be
Maybe.
like trying to, they can't afford to have all
of them.
these. And I just feel like it's dirty pool, man, because they're probably like, well, fuck Scarlett Johansson. We killed her character off anyway.
Right. I was like, we've got years of her. Let's go move on to somebody new. And Cruella DeVille's hot and new right now. So.
Yeah. I haven't
Really?
seen that yet either, that
I
Cruella
haven't.
movie. I heard it's really good.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard controversy about it.
really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that next time, maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Well, moving on.
Moving on
So, oh boy,
Moving on
I see
up
what you've got here. This is.
to a two-story Taco Bell.
Oh,
Taco Bell.
Two-story.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody at home knows this, but Megan, she kind of likes Taco Bell a little bit.
And I saw some taco house shoes today that I must have.
Taco house shoes?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I
As
can see
opposed to just normal shoes that you can wear in the house. These are like specific for the house.
Do they look like tacos?
They're like house shoes.
Yeah.
And they look like tacos.
Oh my God.
They're like big tacos. They're huge. I'm going to trip and fall and break my neck. What's going to happen? So anyway, they are introducing, it's called Taco Bell Defy. And this little lovely thing has 4 drive-thrus
Wow.
to service. So the actual restaurant is quite a bit smaller than what we're used to. But most of us go through the drive-thru anyway, right? For Taco Bell?
That's true.
Yeah.
For the most part. I know
Yeah.
I do 99.999% of the time.
Right.
But so there's like a line for if you pre-order through their app.
Okay.
So you order ahead of time. So you can just go straight to that line and get it and
Everybody's
go.
doing that, man.
Yeah.
Is that
Save the time.
crazy?
Yeah. It's weird.
It's like, how lazy can you be? You got to go there anyway. You might just order them, right?
And it's to be fresher because I don't want the Taco Bell does not keep.
Like for me, I just ordered Chipotle today on the app, and it said it'll be ready in 15 minutes. I went an extra 10 minutes late because sometimes they're late on their stuff. They were still late.
Yeah.
So I could have gone there
And
in
waited
line
in line.
and been out of there quicker.
Yeah, that's another
you know?
way. I don't. Yeah, Chipotle, you gotta.
All right. So what are
Right
these?
then and there.
What are these other lanes?
So, and then the other lane is the regular drive-through
Okay.
lane. So
Okay.
you can do that. And I can't remember what the other two are. One's for pickup, one's
When's the lane where you get in the
on-site.
lane and then you order on the app and then you go up to the window?
yeah. So on-site ordering and pickup. You got priority lane. This dedicated to quick
Priority
pickup.
lane.
Yep. That you order on the online app before you go.
Look. Okay.
Priority lane.
Listen.
For an extra $10, you can get your order 5 minutes earlier than the guy in front of you.
Dude, Taco Bell drive-through is the most ridiculous drive-through ever.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it depends on what time you go.
I
and
can easily
location, yeah.
sit in a drive-through for Taco Bell for 20, 30 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
why I stopped going on my lunch break at the old job because
Yeah, you
literally
can't-
my
you can't
entire
do
lunch
it.
break was in the fucking drive.
Exactly. So I think this is a good idea.
No.
Let those fuckers go over there.
Here's what's gonna happen.
Keep everybody separated. Keep the line moving.
No.
If you go through and order 20 tacos, I have another line option.
Listen, you can keep dreaming, all right, that this is a great idea. Here's why it's not a great idea, and as soon as I explain this, you're going to totally know what I mean. Have you ever been on the fucking toll road? You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, because somebody's getting the wrong fucking lane.
Everybody, because you've got...
Oh, what? What do you mean?
You've got the Easy Pass lane. You've got the cash credit lane. You've got the lanes that are trucks only and everything. So there's like 3 or 4 different ones. And every fucking day, every time, because I'm on the toll road all the time, it is almost without fail that I see. And a lot of times I get caught in them, unfortunately, behind some dip rods fucking doing this. But I always see, I've never been on the toll road and not seen at least one of those fucking lanes backed up with some motherfucker who either is in the Easy Pass lane, but is like, oh, I need cash. Or somebody in a fucking truck that's like, oh, I didn't realize this wasn't a truck lane and all that. That is going to be a fucking nightmare because, first of all, it's Taco Bell. Taco Bell can barely, as you said, manage one fucking lane. They can barely manage it.
I hate
Right
McDonald's.
now,
where-
they can't even stay open all day because we
Right.
don't have enough people to work it.
Right.
I hate the McDonald's lanes where there's 2 lanes simultaneously and you got to merge.
I love those.
I always think they're going to fuck up my order and give the other guy my order.
But they never do.
I don't
It's
know.
just
They got it
weird.
worked out.
I don't know how they do that.
Unless you're Willie G,
Well,
they only
they
ever
only
fuck
ever
up his
fuck him
order.
up.
Yeah, but so yeah, you've got the fact that like you just said, Taco Bell doesn't even have enough workers, much less good workers, to fucking make their 1 lane work, much less 4 different fucking lanes. 2, people are fucking stupid, just like they are on the toll road, and they're gonna get all fucked up. And the third big thing, weed. Weed. Because so many motherfuckers that smoke weed love going to Taco Bell. And so they're going to get so fucking confused because they're going to be all stoned. And they can barely fucking manage the one. They barely can. Have you ever seen some of these motherfuckers? You smell them, I'm sure. Like,
oh,
when
yeah,
you
I smell them.
and everything, and they're barely like, and you're like looking at them, and they're like trying to talk, and you realize they're not actually pulled all the way up to the fucking speaker. You know what I'm talking about? And they're like, and you can hear, they're like, hello, and I'm literally
Hello?
I'm sitting in the car, and they're like, yeah. Bruh, I want a number 3 with hot sauce, and it's like, sir, we can't hear you. I'm sitting in the car behind them, and I'm like, you fucking, you
Pull up.
you fucking pothead idiots, pull up your car like 3 feet. They're sitting back at, you know how they have like the early, they have like the
Here's the menu we have to offer you.
the prelim menu, and then
they're
they have the
ordering there.
full menu where that actually has the speaker. You know exactly, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, God.
This, look, Meg, I don't want to fucking rain on your parade,
Yeah, way to poo-poo my...
but this idea is not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm sorry. I wish it would, because if it did work, it would be so much more convenient for everybody. I got you. But isn't this thing also supposed to be like multiple levels and all this shit
Yeah,
too?
it's 2 levels. So like these lanes,
Is there like
certain
a
lanes, it's like you're at a bank where it goes, and it takes food down to you. You don't even have to interact with anybody. How great is that?
there was an Arby's like that where you had to put the money in here and it went over your head over this way.
Right.
It's like, why didn't you just put it on that side?
Because that's silly.
Yeah, but what if your money gets stuck? Then you're out. All that money that you just put in that conveyor belt thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure that's happened and stuff. But I mean, yeah, that's like bank
That's just
technology.
like at the bank. Yeah, you
Right.
put it in the little tube and then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Imagine if you were like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and you could ride in that motherfucker.
You would literally get obliterated, I think. Yeah,
Well, I mean, I'd want to be in like the tube thing you put your money in, you know?
like loose. You're just,
I would.
that's what I thought. I was like, dude, you'd be smashed, man.
Just scraping you along the inside of the tube. No, I meant like actually in something, you know, maybe strapped down or something. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, they're are they actually doing this? This isn't just like a concept. Is
No, it says that there's 13 being done and that there's 85 more in the pipeline.
Jeez.
Wow. Okay, so I guess we'll find out.
We will find out.
Meg will be like the first person there, and I guarantee you, she's gonna come back and be like,
Son of a
"Motherfucker,
bitch.
They fucked it up.
they
It was
fucked
the
it
worst
up.
ever.
It took 35 minutes to get my order."
It's worse now. How is it worse?
And I've got a headache because the car that was sitting in front of me just
full of
reeked of
weed.
fucking marijuana. and
Ugh.
and they gave me nothing but mild sauce, and I wanted hot sauce, and yeah.
Yeah.
And then they and
no
then
napkins.
I found out they took another thing off the menu that I love.
Dude, fuck.
They keep-
Don't fucking do that.
I know.
I was pissed about the chili cheese burritos, man.
Yeah, chili cheese burritos, my Mexi Melt, and my Mexican pizza. What?
Mexican pizza. is
No
the
more Mexican
fucking bomb.
pizza?
No.
It's gone.
I never ate it, but I remember those being like the
So
shit.
good.
They are the
So
shit.
good.
Yeah.
They need to come back. Get rid of those damn fries. Those things.
Oh, nacho fries? I like those.
Yeah, those are suck.
Yeah.
Suck.
They're pretty good. I missed the rolled up chicken taquito things that they had.
Mm.
Those are okay.
Yeah.
They're a little greasy.
Yeah.
Kind of like me. I'm a little greasy. No, I'm not. I'm pretty clean, actually. But anyway, so
I had one more thing that I was pretty excited about. Manifest on Netflix.
Nice.
has finally come through for us, and they are making season fucking 4.
Good for
To
them.
finish up our wild ride that we've all been on. Minus
Me,
Larry.
I've never been on. I haven't seen one episode of it.
Yeah, you're missing out, dude.
That's what I've heard.
You're missing out. So they announced this on August 28th, and they did it on purpose because there's 828 passengers
Oh,
on flight 191.
yeah.
So they chose that date on purpose.
Nice.
Or no, it's flight 828.
That's what
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, yeah.
I was,
191 passengers.
I was going to say, wait
got
a
it
minute, that's a
backwards.
big fucking plane.
I got the right numbers.
Holy shit, that plane had 828. No wonder that thing got fucking lost, you know?
Yeah, and it's funny because I wonder if this is all like a ploy from the get-go, because the plane disappeared for 5 years, and now they're bringing the show back.
Hey.
Made us fight for it. Clever fuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be 20 episode season. So you got a lot of catching up to do, Vito.
Yeah, I know.
Before then. They got a couple of the main characters are already signed on, ready to go, and the creator in them, he's real excited and super thankful to the fans for making this happen.
Yeah, I remember he had that petition on Twitter or something like that. And yeah, that's awesome. Good for them.
Yeah, and they vowed to keep it in the vein that we expect Manifest to be
Nice.
in. So I'm real curious how they wrap this thing up.
I don't know.
But I don't want to really say too much because I don't want to give it up.
For me,
Larry hasn't
yeah.
watched any of it, and you still got some to watch.
Yeah, so I watched maybe the first 10 or 11 episodes, but then I read up on the rest of the episodes just because that's so much hours of TV I got to watch. It's, just,
Yeah.
it's way too much. But yeah, seeing where the show is going or where it went, I was like, wow, damn, this is really, really cool. But then obviously they didn't end it correctly, but now they are. So that's great.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting it to
Right.
be cut off like it was. Because
Yeah.
as soon as, like a day or two after episode or season 3 aired, they canceled it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's bullshit when they
yeah, and it was kind of fucked up the way it ended. So we're like, you can't do that. We need more. And that's why everybody signed on so fast to get this fixed.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah, maybe I'll see what people think of once that season 4 comes out and everything, and if like, you know, the feedback from you is good and you're like, oh yeah, it was great and blah blah blah, then I'll just go and I'll watch the whole fucking
the whole thing, yeah.
We'll see.
Time will tell.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
All right. I know that was a pretty long shake and bacon segment, but we've got a lot to catch up on.
We sure did. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. But in this next segment, which is called Squad Talk, we pick one topic that we want to just kind of focus on a little bit more than the other ones and that we all kind of equally discuss. And what we chose to talk about is something that I wasn't even aware of it, but then somebody posted, a guy named Scott that I know, posted in the squad about this and was just like, check this video out. And it's like, okay, what's this all about? And it was a long video. But basically what it has to do with is it has to do with the auctioning and reselling of vintage, supposedly collectible video games on the aftermarket and a purported scam going on with it. So, and then like you pointed out, Vito, that you watched the watched the Metal Jesus one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool YouTuber that calls himself Metal Jesus. He's a cool guy. He did a whole his whole thing is that he talks about video games. That's what his channel's pretty much about. A little music and stuff because he's a metal guy.
Yeah.
But mainly about video games, and he kind of was throwing in his 2 cents about it and stuff. Do you guys know anything about what this is about? Like what the whole scandal is?
Very
Not really, no.
basic level stuff.
Okay, so what it comes down to is one of the reasons I was interested in this, and I think that's why Scott shared it to us, is because we talked in one of the last episodes that we did back in the spring or early summer. We talked about the sale of that Super Mario game. Remember that?
Oh,
that
we sure did.
that it went for like some crazy amount of money. I forget, like 2 mil or 1.3 mil or something like insane like that for a video game. And I guess that is not the only one that has like been selling for that kind of high price. There's been just this like big surge of aftermarket specifically graded video games that are selling for like big money and stuff. Now, you know what I mean when I say graded, right? You guys are familiar with the whole grading thing.
Only because of your comics.
Right. Well, you remember like when we went to Wizard World and we went the other one.
C2E2.
C2E2, yes. Couldn't think of it. I was saying CNBC. I'm like, no, that ain't it.
The CNBC convention.
Oh, that'd be a lot of fun. Anyway, so no, there's all these different grading companies out there that how they make money and everything is they have these self-appointed experts that will grade and then like hermetically seal and all this stuff your sports card, your toy, your video game, your comic book, whatever. And it is supposed to make it worth more, you know, like say, for example, if I go out and I buy a boxed Atari Pac-Man 2600 game, you know, if it's sealed in the box and everything, you can go, oh yeah, that's worth some money. Well, you know, I might be able to get that on eBay for like anywhere from, I don't know, 30 to 75 bucks. Whereas if it's graded by this like companies like this WATA Games, WATA, well, yeah, WATA Games, but they're an agency that grades rare games.
Their subsidiary is Whataburger too. I don't know.
Who the fuck knows? But if you get it graded, if you got that same Pac-Man, you got it graded. And they sealed it and they put their little sticker thing on there and they're like, oh, yeah, this is a 8.5 out of 10. Well, now you can auction that fucking thing off and sell it for, $300 or whatever. And usually the way this works with like comic books and cards and stuff usually is they, like say, for example, CGC, who does the comic books, they're pretty informative and upfront about how many they've graded. Like you can go online, like say for example, if I go, hey, how many graded copies through CGC are there of Amazing Spider-Man #1? You can go on their website and they'll tell you, and they have like serial numbers and all this stuff you can look up. So they go, oh yeah, there's only none's never been graded higher than a 9.2, and there's only 4 of those in existence, and they were graded on these dates, and so it's very transparent in terms of like what's out there. From what I'm understanding, WATA Games is not that transparent, and it's like, and all of a sudden there's all these like games that are getting graded and all this stuff, and the problem is that people, when you're doing all this stuff, you're kind of relying on it's kind of like stock trading and all that stuff. You have to rely that the traders and the people that are in these companies, that there's not inside trading and all that. It's like kind of illegal. Well, this guy has basically come down to it and figured out, or claims that he's figured out, that WATA is working sort of like in conjunction with like Heritage Auctions, which is a big auction site, and sort of basically it's like they're creating the market.
They're like a pump and dump scam.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're putting all this stuff out there and we're saying that it's rare and we're and then we're like working with this auction site to have, just like on eBay, you could put something up on eBay and you have what they call shill bidding. Do you know what shill bidding is?
So do you get your buddy to raise the price on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I put a guitar on eBay and it's like, okay, I started at $100, but I really want it to go for, $1,000.
$1 million.
Yeah, or $1,000 or something. I can get friends to go and like bid against each other on it and like keep driving up the price and everything, and then hope that somebody else will come in and do a final, like you get, especially if you see somebody's gone in and they've put like bids on it and everything, it's like you can get somebody to like bump it up. Well, it's illegal. You can't do that, and it's against eBay's policies to do that. People get busted all the time. I've seen it happen. I've been on stuff, and then all of a sudden you get two guys that are doing that, and you're going, wait a minute, why is this happening all of a sudden over this item? And especially what happens is when it gets to be a little suspect, because in the case with this like video game thing, it's like, why did these all of a sudden just shoot up? Like who wants this? Why is the demand for this all of a sudden? Why is the demand for a Super Mario sealed game like suddenly that, like how do you set those kind of like prices and everything? Like who deemed that game was supposed to be worth like $2 million? Well, it starts out with, we guesstimate, auction houses are supposed to kind of guesstimate, like we predict that this is going to go for at least this, so we're going to do a starting bid of 500,000 or something like that. And then you find that, and then you get people that bid, and sometimes it goes higher, sometimes it doesn't. So what this guy's accusing, he did a really deep dive, and I'll put a link to the video that exposes all this in the description below. But this guy did a really deep dive and believes that he found links between WADA, the grading service, and the auction house and everything. And it's pretty fucked up, man. How do you guys feel about that sort of thing? Now, I know you guys aren't necessarily like collectors like I am, but how do you feel about the whole like idea of that? Like, do you think for one thing, like one thing that people have commented is the problem with this is it ends up destroying a legitimate hobby, because there's a lot of people out there that are legitimately collecting these things, are not being shady about it, and they're trying like they've seen this sort of thing happen before with like sports cards and stuff where there's been and that market is just bottomed the fuck out. Like that market is like destroyed. Well, you were just saying to me earlier, weren't you? They just recently had an issue with that. They had an issue with that with Pokemon cards.
It seemed like all the cards like that, collector cards, and stores are like, we're not going to sell them anymore right now because you guys are being shady about it.
People were getting real shady about it, and and it was getting like crazy,
violent and shit.
I think it's all scams, dude. It's like now this whole internet culture is all about scams, especially in the last couple of years, dude.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency scams, trading card scams, now this video game scam. It's like everybody's trying to scam you out of money online now. It's like you can't even trust to do anything. And I personally think you're a moron if you're going to spend $2 million on a fucking Super Mario car or Super Mario game that's just in the box. I just think that's dumb.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, it hurts the smaller collectors that just want the box or the game because they grew up with it in childhood and they just want it on their shelf. But now it's like they can't even get it at a reasonably priced price because some assholes just jacked the market up to unbelievable numbers.
And and that's always been my biggest issue. I go through this all the time, all the fucking time. It's like, because I'm a collector and I collect comics and toys and records and like all these things. In some cases, there are some legitimate reasons for why certain things end up going up so much, if you have a toy like, say, Amigo Iron Man, and it's like pretty much confirmed that as far as we know, there are like literally less than 10 of them in existence that are still sealed in its package from 1975 or whatever. And then you have a big boom happen, especially on top of it, where Iron Man becomes this huge character because of the Robert Downey Jr. movies and everything. And now a lot of people that grew up with them, now they're older and they've got money. Some of the people that played with Migos now are doctors and lawyers and investors and all this. And you sit there and go, okay, well, you know what? That figure now is worth, you know, 20 grand. It's like, okay, well, I can kind of trace that. But in the case of something like, say, like, okay, this Super Mario Brothers, right? So this particular, and like I talked about when we discussed it in that other episode, this particular Super Mario Brothers was a very specific version of it
Right.
and everything, right? You
It
remember
was like
that?
the one without Duck Hunt or something.
It was something like
Yeah.
that. It was a very specific version of it. But this version of it, in 2017, it sold for $30,000, okay? Then in 2019, it sold for over $100,000. And then this year, it suddenly jumped up to $2 million.
What?
Right. And they were saying that's an over 6,500% increase in just 4 years. And what people were, you know, this guy was bringing up about this was the fact that it's like, well, but who's doing this? Like, who are the people that are doing this? Because a lot of the people that were like, a lot of people that consider themselves like pretty hardcore collectors and very knowledgeable of all this stuff are like, well, we're not buying that. We're not willing to pay that. It was one thing when the 30,000 happened. That was like, wow, that's like huge. But we don't know who the fuck. Now, I get it. There's always some Leonardo DiCaprio or somebody out there that's got like fucking money to burn. But it just, the whole thing just seems really suspect. And they started to delve a little bit into it more and started to find that there was this like collusion going on between the grading company. Because here's the other thing that I don't know if you don't know about grading and stuff. And it's one of the, I don't like grading anyway, but one of the reasons I won't get something graded, if you go get something graded by any of these companies, AFA for the toys, CGC for comics, etc., what you pay to get it graded is based on how rare it is and what they deem it's worth. So like if I sent in a Superman #1 that I found in some great aunt's attic or something like that, and was like, oh, get it graded, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, this Superman #1, oh, well, that's worth like, you know, $750,000. The amount of money I have to pay for them to grade that is like astronomical. It's really expensive. It's based on a percentage of what they deem. So that's another thing. So these auction houses, when it comes to this, like they benefit from saying, oh, this thing sold for so much money. Like,
and I'm sure the auction house gets a percentage of the sale at the end as well.
Sure.
right.
So
Right.
higher
Oh,
the
yeah. The
price.
auction. So that's what I'm saying. So Wada Games benefits from these things from them being able to grade these as being rare and from them selling on these auction sites for so much money, because now they can say, oh, this is worth so much more money. So now if they grade a Super Mario Brothers like that, whereas it was originally $30,000 and they would get whatever percentage of that 10% of, you know, of that value is what you have to pay to get a grade. Now if it's $2 million, if you go to get it graded and all that, you know what I mean? So they stand to make all this money off of this when it's like in actuality, like who decides this is really rare? Because this is a thing I've always complained about. Like say like things like Star Wars toys. You get all these dudes, you go to like these toy shows. You've been there with me. You guys have both been there. And you see some people that are like, oh, you know, this is a vintage, you know, whatever, Star Wars Luke Skywalker, you know, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, this thing's worth $100, you know, out of the package and everything. And I'm like, is it really, though? Like, who actually is paying $100 for it? You know, then that's
it's worth whatever that person's going to buy it for. You know?
right. And I mean, and so that's the same thing with like eBay. I get people all the time. Oh, I heard these Star Wars toys are worth so much money. And I'm like, in some cases they are, but most of the time they're not, you know? Well, I went on eBay and I saw that somebody was selling the same Star Wars toys I've got in my box in my basement right now. They're selling them for thousands of dollars. I said, no, they're asking thousands of dollars. They're not selling them for thousands of dollars. If you actually then go and that's what you can do a search on eBay and just put in sold items. For that search and find out how much they'd actually sold for. And then you start looking and you go, oh, no, wait a minute.
You just jack the price up by 4 times to get, you know,
there's people. Yeah, you might have a dozen guys that are all asking $100 for this loose Luke Skywalker that their dog chewed on or whatever. But if you look at the actual sold auctions and then you go, oh no, okay, here's one that sold a few weeks ago for $12. Here's one that sold for 20. Here's one that sold for 18. That's the actual closer value because that's what people are actually willing to pay.
Yeah.
And every now and then you get somebody that's like, I've got money to burn, so I'll pay it because I just want that. But you can't, you have to average it out. And that's what's happening here with this is that it's I don't know, it's bullshit.
And you're not even going to play that game. You're going to have it sit on your shelf. It's like,
Well, and I mean, I get that. I don't.
Sealed.
I know. It's just, I don't know, man. $2 million for
They
that.
could send you back an empty box full of rocks. How are you going to know? That's why the comic books and stuff. How do you know what's actually in there?
Yeah, that's true.
They can just take
They
out the
just had a
middle part and
yeah.
go sell that somewhere else for themselves. And give you a bunch of blank pages in between.
I mean, in theory, that could happen.
Right?
Because if you just spent $12,000 on a Spider-Man,
You
you're
ain't
not
gonna
going to
crack it open.
Yeah, you're not going to crack that
No.
shit. So,
that's a
yeah,
good
you don't
point.
know.
That's a really good point. I never even thought about that, to be honest with you.
You should develop an X-ray machine that can look inside of those things with like a reverse image, so we can actually tell if the
And you
real
can still
pages-
enjoy it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a really
Sealed,
good,
how can you enjoy it? Besides just look at it.
that's a really good point. I mean, I never thought about that. Like, what if they did do something? Like, if they had a bunch of high-end comics come in, and they were like, "Well, we can just make repros,
3D printer just to
they
make it
can
look
make a
thick,
reproduction, and we can age it." Because I mean, they do that with guitars. You can buy a relict guitar.
Or a pre-broken headstock guitar. Doesn't Gibson do that shit?
Oh yeah, well then they fix it and they fill in cracks with toothpicks and stuff. That's a whole other thing. But what I mean is like what I'm talking about is like, say for example, Jimmy Page's Les Paul, right, from the 60s and stuff in the 70s. Like it's got like certain marks on it, or Eddie Van Halen's guitars, right? Like you can go to Fender and you can buy for, $18,000 or something like that, an exact replica of Eddie's Frankenstein guitar that he made, with the red and white and black stripes. And they do everything. Because I've watched videos on it. They're like, yeah, like, because Eddie used to put cigarettes in his headstock, while he'd play in between the strings, and it would burn and it burned the wood. So they would go and they did that. And they were like, we took different stuff and we went and found the exact brand of paint that he used back in 1979 and all this stuff, and we did that. Like they match it, and that's what you pay for that. You're paying $20,000, but so they can do that with something like that. So what I'm getting at is, what's to say that they couldn't, in theory, make a replica of a video game, of a Super Mario Brothers, even if you go, well, it's got design, distinctive, characteristics because there's a little tear in it. They could fix. They could
People counterfeit money all the time with that shit.
Right.
Yeah. My show Leverage, that's what he does, is he counterfeits stuff like that, and he gets it down to the brush stroke.
Right.
Because most of it's like painting.
Right.
It's like they have a certain technique.
I was just going to bring that up about
So
paintings.
you can't tell it.
About paintings. I mean, we've
It's
come
3D fucking printed.
and for people to sit there and say, "Well, no, I trust Heritage Auctions and all these grading companies." You're a fucking idiot if you trust them, because I mean, the museums trusted all kinds of fucking people. You go to the Louvre and places like that, and we've come to find out that it's like the painting that's in there. It's not real.
Yeah, it's a replica.
That's not a real Van Gogh. That's not a real Rembrandt. That's not a real, you know what I mean? Like they're all, yeah, it's really something. So I don't know, man. I think people are crazy if they want to pay. What you do with your money is your business. But I just don't think it's healthy. I across the board, even though I'm a big toy collector, I'm sure people think that I'd be, like, well, don't you want your stuff to be worth money? No, not at all. I really don't.
You want to enjoy it.
If I found out that all my toys right now, like they just bottomed out, and it's like, man, they're worth like that Shogun Warrior you bought for $150 last year, like man, that thing's worth like $30 now. I'd be like, cool, I'm gonna go buy another one. Seriously,
Right.
because I didn't buy it. It was worth it to spend $150 on it because of what that toy meant to me. And that's why I got it. Like, I don't have these things. I don't give a fuck about that. I respect and understand other people don't agree with me on it. But I feel like the excessive amount of attention to that and greed and stuff that's come around with these things, I feel like it's only just served to ruin hobby after hobby after hobby. We've seen it because people, if you don't know this at home, I owned a collectibles store for 5 years. So I was in that end of the business, and I saw what happened with it. And just even in that time, like, because I was there with the peak and then the bottoming out of sports cards, basketball cards, baseball cards, all that kind of stuff. It got out of hand. And the grading and the limit and the excessive amount of making limited edition this and that and autographed things and all that. Like, I've seen all of that just fucking take a shit. I'm not saying that your toys and your comics and all those things shouldn't be worth money. And when certain things are extremely rare, a Batman #1, from 1940, Detective Comics from 1937, there's so few of them in the world, and there are some big name people, and stuff that want it, and they're willing to spend millions. I get it. But a lot of this stuff, like this stuff these people are talking about with these video games and everything, no, this is a fabricated market. And so anyway, I was just kind of curious what you guys thought about it and stuff, and what everybody at home thinks about it, because I don't know. Like I said, I know some people like to spend money on these things, and they hope that they look at it as an investment, and to a degree it is, but it's got to be
but
like
not
legit.
like that. Yeah,
Right.
not like that.
Invest in your 401k, man.
Yeah, and even those things are
Right,
are
but-
risky. Even stocks and bonds are fucking risky.
But there's a track record over the last, how many years
Yes.
that it's been around that it's progressively done this.
And that's, I think, what the main thing with this is that this is like seeming really shady, and it's not easily tracked. And it's like, okay, what's the basis for these things suddenly being worth so much? Like, who's doing this and why? And anyway, yeah. So I just thought it was kind of interesting, and I'd love to know from some of you at home, like, leave messages for us, leave comments and stuff. I'd love to know what you think about this, and if you have any other insights on this, because that's one of the main reasons we do this, right?
Sure is.
What do you suggest?
I suggest that for once I got the buttons
I
all
can't
right.
believe it.
We're all looking like, is he going to get it? Is he going to get it?
I almost
And you got
didn't. I almost didn't. I had my finger on the one. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right. I almost.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I almost
It only
muffed
took
that one up.
a year to figure it out.
Yeah, just a year.
It's just season 2.
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm starting season 2 off right. It's a long episode, but it's a good one. So this is the what do you suggest portion of the show, because we're winding down now. We're in the home stretch, and this is the part where we tell all y'all at home what
to do.
Yeah, we're telling you what to do. Don't tell me what to do. I have freedom of choice.
Oh, God.
How's that working out for you?
Yeah, it's not working out so good for you at home. Yeah, I'm not
All
even
right,
gonna touch
keep
that.
it moving.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep it moving. Anyway, we're going to make some gentle suggestions of things that we dig and that we really like, and hope that you might check it out. Vito, we'll start with you as always.
So I'm suggesting a album here by a guy named Michael Manring.
Yeah.
Which is a phenomenal bass player.
Okay.
And he just released an album about a year and a half ago called Small Moments. And the thing I like about Michael is, so he plays this custom Zahn bass called a hyper bass.
Okay.
And basically what he does is it's a fretless bass, and he does instrumental, just solo bass songs, but he's got these weird levers on his tuning pegs. So on a guitar,
Right.
if you want to change the tuning of a string, you got to kind of like turn the peg
Turn it
a
and
while
twist it,
until it
yeah.
gets to the next pitch. But he's got this thing set up where you can go between pitches by just flicking this lever. But he's got them on every single string,
Right.
as well as on the bridge. So he can detune one string and play it and then switch to the next pitch to get something in the song. It's bizarre and it's a mind trip, but the music he makes is just absolutely incredible. It's very vibey and chill. There's like some jazz elements in there. There's like a lot of progressive elements in there. It's just really amazing music, and you should check it out.
Yeah, I've never listened to his albums, but I have seen videos of him, and it's fucking amazing. I mean, the amount of discipline, It's hard enough just to get really fucking good at an instrument normally, but then he's sitting there and like playing these melodies, and then boom, 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 he's like flipping all these switches like on the headstock of the bass.
It's crazy.
But yeah, and it creates a certain kind of sound by doing it that way. You know, it is. Yeah, I recommend people check out if you're not so sure about going and checking out the album. Do like I did. Check out his videos first. Once you see his videos, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is amazing. But, you know, unlike I get angry a lot of times about what I call musical jugglers, you know, where people are like, oh, these guys are so amazing and everything. And I'm like, yeah, they're technically amazing, but what I'm listening to is not something I want to sit around and listen to. You know what I mean? It's not good music necessarily, but it's technically incredible how fast they're playing and how technical. But his music is really good. Like he's got the technical know-how, and the music is like, even if you didn't know what he was doing,
you can even put on the background of like a dinner party you're having, and you'd be like, oh, this is like really, really cool, and sets a vibe for the night or whatever, you know.
But it sounds different too.
Yeah,
it's really cool. That's a good suggestion, man. Yeah, nice one. All right, and again, like I mention all the time, links to find all this stuff I will put in the description below. So make sure you click on those. Megan.
Yes.
What are you going to recommend?
I'm going back to Disney.
Okay.
I know we bagged on them quite a bit already, but we're going to go back to them, and I'm going to praise them now.
Okay.
So it's kind of a twofer, really.
Okay.
So they have the show Behind the Attraction, where it goes into depth about how certain rides at Disney came to be, like how they thought them up and what the obstacles they had to go through to get, you know, to where it is and stuff. And one of them, I think it's the first one, is about the Jungle Cruise.
Right, that's a classic one.
Yeah, it was like one of the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I want to put this jungle in the middle of the desert, and he did it. It's really, really interesting, I think.
I love those like behind the scenes documentaries of how they like.
Yeah, because they talk about like, well, we need all these, you know, exotic trees and stuff like that. Yeah, he's like, but I don't have the money. He wasn't Disney yet, you know. Yeah. They were building the highway, and he went and got the trees from the side of the highway. They tore up and put them in there.
Put them in Disneyland.
And then like some of our orange trees are like, well, I need something exotic. I got to do it. They planted them upside down. I think that's pretty.
So
smart.
it's like the roots and
the
stuff.
Roots
That's
are
why
out.
they look
Yeah.
so okay.
Yeah.
So they look
So
more
exotic.
tropical and weird, viney.
Like, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Freaking
Okay.
clever. And like this one tree was donated to him. It's a big palm tree, and somebody got it as a wedding present, and they donated it, and then their son ended up working on the Jungle Cruise for years, and the tree's still there, I guess. So
that's pretty cool.
It's just stuff like that. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then good old The Rock comes out with a new movie called Jungle Cruise, based on that.
Right.
And so he's got all the corny jokes like they tell you on the ride. It was right up my alley.
I was just saying, you're not
you
about
know
corny
me
jokes
and the
at
dad
all.
jokes. I freaking love them. So I thought it was adorable. I love this movie. I can't wait to watch it again.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was well worth paying the money to.
Now is it on
there.
Disney Plus?
Yes, it is. That's how I watched it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
That's cool. And it's got The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, so it has Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. I could see that. She's good for that sort of role.
Yeah, it was fun. They like bicker the whole time, and it was a lot of what is that movie I'm thinking of where they are on the cruise? The
Speed 2?
No. No, the Jungle Queen or something.
African Queen.
African Queen. So it's got a lot of that where they kind of bicker back and forth. This old rickety boat, and is this even gonna float?
Right.
And it's got a like Indiana Jones aspects to it.
I could see that. It kind of reminds me like the things I saw of it, and when I was watching the little teaser trailer thing they did for it. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone, yeah. There's a lot of that because they got to go on this adventure, and she wants to find this magical tree that supposedly has this great healing power. And there's like a cursing. There's a curse involved, and it was really interesting.
So that's kind of Pirates of the Caribbean-ish.
Yeah, it's got that in it too. Undead people that are dead but not dead.
That's very Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you got to go underwater to So it's got like some Goonies to it too.
Oh, okay.
So gotta find this ship and
That sounds fun.
yeah, I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
my recommendation. Go
Okay.
watch it.
Yeah, I think that's a good recommendation. My recommendation is a book. It's a book that Vito's not going to care about
Uh-oh.
because I already know how he feels about this.
Oh, boy.
But it is a
about
book.
Popeye?
No. He's always bagging on my Popeye, man. Bagging on my Popeye.
Just the live action Popeye. I like the cartoons.
Dude, the live action Popeye movie is incredible. Anyway. So good. It's Robin Williams. Come on. Anyway. So the reason you're not going to like it is because it is a book written by Quentin Tarantino. And it is the novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
God, one of the worst, literally one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Oh, my God.
God,
Vito.
that movie was absolutely pointless. I'm sorry.
No,
was not.
It really wasn't. You missed the point then about the whole movie. And the book made me love it that much more. The book was like way more. Okay. Any of the shortcomings that the movie maybe did have where it could have had more exposition to kind of explain some things a little bit more, this book makes up for it. Like, it really gets way more in depth about all the different characters, more in depth about the whole Manson family thing, and like there was a lot of really cool stuff. Because great thing, I love novelizations for movies.
Oh, me too.
Times.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love the fact that because it'll tell you things that what the characters are thinking,
Right. Yeah.
which explains a fucking lot.
Right.
And the fact that, in most cases, novelizations are not written by the actual writer-director of the movie. In this case, it is. This is Quentin that wrote it.
Mm.
He sat down and was like, I dig novelizations. I've never, I'd like be kind of cool. This is the movie to do it for. And he did. And fuck, it's awesome. It's so good. I really got wrapped up in it. There's a lot of extra stuff, which is typical of the novelizations too. Things that you could say would have wound up in the cutting room floor, of the actual movie. For those of you that enjoyed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, definitely read it. For those of you who didn't necessarily enjoy Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but maybe were willing to want to enjoy it, I would say read it. If you're just like, no, the whole fucking thing's stupid, it's probably not going to change your mind. But
read it anyway.
But it's really cool. Yeah, and then I just heard Brian Heiler over at Pod Stallions, Eagle Museum, Brian. He, Toy Ventures as well. He just posted an article that I didn't know about that was from another podcast that Quentin did, where he was talking about he might do another book that's all about the movies of Rick, the Leo's character in it. That'll go into into description, and it's gonna kind of get more into where his life went afterwards, what movies he did even after that, and it gets into this whole thing about how after he torched those fucking hippies in that pool at the end of the movie, he became something of a fucking cultural standout hero to people, and sort of a little bit of a representative of the right wing kind of side of thing, because it was very Nixon and a lot of his right wing kind of people were very anti-hippie and stuff. And so it's supposed to be in this fictional world. He, sort of became a hero for them, sort of almost like a John Wayne, in a way. And then Cliff goes on to become a producer and all this. And there's a lot, even the controversial scene with Cliff and Bruce Lee in that movie with the fight between them that happens, that a lot of people were very unhappy about the way they portrayed Bruce Lee in it and everything. In this novelization, man, it gets so much more in depth as to the why that happened and what led up to that and the wherefores and what both people were thinking and stuff. It's so fucking interesting. If you got mad about the whole Bruce Lee insult kind of thing, it's not going to change your mind.
It's not gonna help.
No, because it's actually even worse. Because he really kind of makes Bruce Lee look like
He doesn't like Bruce Lee in
No,
real life. Yeah,
he
That's why he
doesn't.
portrayed him that way.
Yeah, he really has a lot of shit to say about Bruce Lee, man. I'm like, ooh, somebody's gonna fucking kick your ass one of these days, Quentin. But in any case, so that is my recommendation because I really surprisingly kind of got it sort of on a whim because I liked the movie so much, and I was like, well, I need something to read. And so I got it, and I was like, oh, man, this is fucking fabulous. This is so good. I would love if he would do more of these. If he would do a fucking novelization of, like, Inglourious Bastards or Django. Oh, fuck. It would be so good, man.
I couldn't even imagine.
I would love any of them. Kill Bill, any of those. I could totally see benefiting from him doing, especially if he did it, Who knows? But anyway. So that's pretty much
some good suggestion, guys.
That's some good suggestions, I think, from all of us. But it is, man, we've been going at it for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I think it is time to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Wrap it up.
And we'll be back. We will be back. I promise this time we will be back. We're not going
Someday, sometime, somewhere.
We're making all our plans already for the fall and Halloween. So
Yeah, I got something fun for Halloween we got planned.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
we'll see y'all soon, folks.
Later.
Adios.